So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all back to the second part of our session. And my name is Kate Philpott. I lead the Global Sales Enablement function at Getty Images, and I'm also a member of the committee. And it gives me great pleasure to invite up to the stage for this afternoon's keynote on building your career, Karima Goundiam. Is that right? I'm nearly sorry. I've been practicing for ages. Who has come all the way from Canada and who has set up two separate businesses, B2B Match and Red Dot.
She did great, right? So congratulations to everybody, and welcome to How to Grow Your Personal Brand in Tech and Stand Out from the Crowd. So I'm going to share today my journey, and thank you, Flavilla, for inviting me. I literally said to Flavilla, I'm coming to London to be in this event, so I arrived yesterday from Canada in Toronto. So my name is Karima Catherine Goundiam. I go by KC because nobody wants to say a name like that. I'm the founder of B2B Match, which is a matchmaking platform, in an AI matchmaking platform, and Red Dot Digital, which is a consulting firm specialized in digital transformation. I'm on a couple of boards, including boards and committees of the Government of Canada. One of them is the Treasury Board of Canada. The other one is Shared Services. Those boards are important, and the reason why I'm sharing those details, not because I'm the greatest, but because I think that a lot of people will relate in this room. On those boards, I provide leadership with advice, guidance and governance, risk management and control to presidents of those boards. I'm also the lead of Tech Canada Advocates, and I love being part of that network. I'm also the regional coordinator for the International Chamber of Commerce, and in that capacity, I was named by their board to represent and work with the African continent. So let me now tell you how it started and how it's going for me as a Black woman, as a French-speaking Black woman, as an immigrant to Canada, as a tech entrepreneur who is not a coder and not an engineer. So, I was born in Senegal, West Africa. Who just said that? Great. What, sorry, are you from Senegal? Excellent. Usually people don't even know where it is. I have to say, do you know where Akon is from? And then they go, oh, or sometimes I say, do you know where Barack Obama went? And yeah, that's where it went. Okay. So I went to one of the best boarding schools in France from the age of 11 till 18. Then I decided that Canada was, well, I decided the US was the best place for me because I saw TV and there was a lot of Black people, cool Black people. I said, okay, maybe it's gonna be cool to be there. So I went there and I studied. And then I came to the UK in the 90s and I graduated in 96. And that was a very strange experience because I interviewed for one of the best management schemes of companies you know, and I was rejected every single time. So after a while, I said, okay, let me go back to France. Maybe there will be a better chance for me. 300 resumes later, and a lot of disappointment, I finally said, okay, there has to be a place in this world where I'm not going to be rejected for who I am, or where I have to change my name, because at some point I did some A/B testing and changed my name. And that's how I landed in Canada 22 years ago. And although Canada is and has been one of the most welcoming countries in the world, I still face blatant sexism, racism, and discrimination. And I have notes because there's a lot of anecdote that happened, so I want to make sure, I tell you about them. So my first job was at a hotel. I was in marketing, and I was replacing someone at reception because they were sick. And that day I was called by the manager, and who said to me, you have to get off that, reception, because we have some American clients and they were offended that a black person was serving them. Then I went to work for a big consulting, and I will not name them in case they're in the room. But there I was literally told by someone, by a colleague, that she was very, very surprised I was on time and I was working because in her experience, black people were not always on time and only liked dancing. And then I went to work at a big company, Cirque du Soleil, and there I had a contract and wanted to stay on, but I think I knocked on every single door, and I spoke to everybody about my wish to stay. And they ended up saying, no, you're not a good fit for us. And maybe I was not a good clown, I don't know. And then I went to work for another consulting firm, and over there, I had a break. I actually had a woman who saw in me and my skill set something that could help her, and she became a great sponsor and champion. And then I left and I went to another company where I was asked that I would not be given the promotion, but I was asked to help the person who had the promotion get up to speed to their job. And finally, I wanted to work with one of the biggest accounts in digital. And there, same thing, I was working probably 30 to 40% more than everybody, and I was literally bullied out. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. Can you raise your hand if you can relate? Yeah? Awesome. So my journey is not different from a lot of people in the room. And it is a journey that has created a lot of disappointment, a lot of pain, but at the end, it fueled every single positive thing I've done in my life. So I want to thank those bullies. I want to thank everybody who made it difficult for me, because at the end of the day, no was not the answer. So today, being in a room full of black women, black men, and their allies is not only reassuring, but it's weird. It's never happened to me before. So I'm really overwhelmed by this. I'm usually the only one, and I'm usually the only woman, and let alone, the only woman who is a black person. So today, being recognized for my uniqueness and my skill is really interesting, and I hope that some of you can gain solace in knowing that there's a way at some point, even if there's a lot of hardships. So before I came to you, I was speaking at another event, and I was speaking about, to a tech event, about the challenges of being a black woman in tech. The room was not full of black women in tech. It was women, but not black women. So let's agree that being a French-speaking black woman in tech is a story full of stereotypes, and constantly having to break those stereotypes. As black women, we can decide also how we react to things. And I think that's a story of my journey, how I reacted to things. Every little thing, I fueled even more rage to succeed. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my company. I know I was introduced in having two companies. I do have two companies. But the one that is probably the most flagship of my brand, of who I am, and that incorporated everything that my journey encompasses, is B2B Match. And it's a matchmaking platform. And I was speaking to somebody earlier who said, I thought it was a dating site. And I said, perfect. That's actually the analogy that I use when I introduce B2B Match. It's a matchmaking platform, but it's like a dating site, but for companies. And we launched 3 weeks before COVID. And why this story is super interesting, it's a PR professional that are here would not have been able to make this up. 3 weeks before COVID, I was literally showing the platform to a bunch of different people. And most of them were not interested because they said, well, we have events, and we have LinkedIn, so it's cool. And overnight, they were all calling me. And up to this day, there's a few people who don't believe in it, but the story will say otherwise. B2B Match is now present in over 72 countries and 150 industries. Thank you. The power of the platform is to reach over 600 million companies in the world. Some of the things that are important in B2B Match is because, unlike dating, we vet companies. So this is not garbage companies. We're not a Facebook that's going to be bots and LinkedIn that is going to be a professional site that actually acts like a dating site for individuals. It's based on the algorithm, proprietary to us, to me. And it's evolving in this beautiful second iteration where we now have enterprise features. We have video where we compete with Zoom, and we also have premium profiles and all different great features that are going to come out now, actually. So one other thing I wanted to say, because I know I only have 5 minutes left, is as Black women, we're always perceived in a context. I'm respected on stage, I'm respected in those boards meetings, but I'm searched at airports. I'm stopped sometimes when I'm in a luxury department store. I'm followed in a makeup store. We talk about being invisible, and we talk about being voices of shadow. And we are really voices in the shadows, even when we work harder than everyone. But suddenly, we're seen. At some point, people see us. And part of our brand, because that's the theme, is to remain seen, to be out loud as we can. And Flablia here, you're doing a great job at that, right? High five. We have to be as loud as we can, because otherwise, we're forgotten very easily. My reputation is that I'm authentic and fearless, but I have a lot of fears. The difference is I don't listen to them. I'm very stubborn, and when I have a goal, I don't stop. If I had listened to my fears, I would not be in London, because I had met a woman, probably very well-intentioned, 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, who said to me, as she was supposed to be an ally, nobody needs you in London. Your skill is not unique. Yes, I will not name her. But I'm pretty sure she's seen me in a few stages I was speaking at. Most times also, I am alone on stage. I am alone on those boards as the only representative as the Black race, as if, right? The only woman, the only Black person, the only one with an accent, the only one with a different name, the only one with an accented name. I had to also listen to all the people who thought I should not become an entrepreneur, or those who insisted on thinking of a product was completely delusional, or those who give you unsolicited business advice. I usually take all those fears and the negative feedback and I transmute them. I transmute them into positive. You can be sure that every single time somebody has said no to me, they probably saw a few months later that I actually achieved what they said no to. So a room of Black women is very overwhelming for me, and I'm very happy here today because I know that every single one of you will go out and will create your own best version of yourself. And if I have one takeaway today is don't take no for an answer, and use no. Use those microaggressions about your hair, about what you look like, about what you cannot achieve, what you're not capable of, and use it as a fuel. Use it as a fuel to create that not only best version for you, but that best version for the next generation. I see there are a few little girls here. My own daughter is a coder. She's in robotics. She's 13. And you know what? She's fearless. And sometimes she's asked, what is it to be a girl in tech? She's like, I don't know what else to be. Thank you. And I just wanted to end to thank Flavilla, the team, the sponsors, the speakers, and every single participant here, because I know that we're going to spread out, and sometimes we will be in rooms where nobody looks like us, nobody is like us, nobody sounds like us, and it will be intimidating. But use it as a way to actually represent and to do your thing and to fuel every single fiber of you to show how great you are. Because you are. And we're not voices in the shadows anymore. We're coming out, really. So thank you.